My apologies for the late start. Um, I'm having some technical difficulties, but I hope you will bear with me today. My guest hasn't arrived as yet, but since he's coming all the way from Jamaica, I think we can give him some time. How has your day been? How has your month been? April is a wonderful month. I hope you realize that. The sun is shining today. It's out and about and it's much warmer than previous days. Um, we have celebrated Autism Awareness this month. It was the um, St. George's Day. It was Stephen Lawrence's day for those of you who are in the UK. 30 years ago, Stephen Lawrence was murdered on the 22nd of April. And since 2019, can't be 2019, 2008, I think, they have instituted the Stephen Lawrence Day. His parents have created a foundation that is doing quite a lot of good things, especially for young black and young black persons who have big dreams, and they, especially when it has to do with architecture, because he wanted to have become an architect. Such a sad way to end your life, but out of something sad, something good has come. Um, and also, yesterday, the 24th, was the birthday of Stephen Wilshire, a young British artist. He is autistic and he has a phenomenal gift of being able to look at landscapes and do helicopter flyovers and memorize them and then paint them, sketch them, draw them from memory. Fantastic. Look him up, Google him, do a little bit of internet search and find him. Stephen Wilshire. He is fantastic. He has been invited to quite a number of places, and people actually see him working on these large canvases, where he paints or draws landscapes that he has seen of a particular city. He says he likes New York City. He has done Buckingham Palace. He's gone to Singapore. He's gone to Japan. He's gone to quite a number of countries. His ability, to remember and then to reproduce it is awesome. He has a gallery in, I've forgotten the name of the place, but do some research. You will be happy that you are able to get to learn about this person. Now, I asked you how was your day, how was your month. I said that April is the best month, and I am hoping that you will have been blessed by the April showers, but not only by the April showers, that you will have been blessed by the wonderful things that happened in April. There was Easter. For those of you who are from the Caribbean, I know you had your hard dough bread and your fried sprat. I know you had bun and cheese, and I know the tasty cheese is still giving everybody a fight. Somebody told me about a shopkeeper who wanted to charge her £9 per slice. He would cut he would open the tin for her and then he would cut the slices, but she'd have to pay him for cutting the slices, £9 per slice. Oh, I tell you, it's awesome. That a wonderful month, but people are doing their own thing with the bun and cheese. My guest is here, and I want to start off the correct way. Um, it is Possible Tuesdays with Sanya, and we are here in London. The sun is out because the sun is setting later these days, and as usual, We remind you that God says, I know the plans that I have for you, plans for prosperity and not for disaster, to give you a future and a hope. And Jesus beheld them and said unto them, with men this is impossible, but with God all things are possible. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I have a gentleman here who, um, I'll tell you this, he is doing us a big favor, and I'll tell you why he's doing us a big favor. He, not so many hours ago, landed, having traveled for quite a while from far around the world, and he's still a bit jet lagged. But I know he is going to be sharing quite a lot with us, and I know that you will be inspired by his story. This evening, my guest is a gentleman from South. Is it South Manchester or Central Jamaica?
Central Jamaica. I'm from Clarendon initially, yes.
All right, Central Jamaica. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to. Actually, I'm not going to introduce my guest. He's going to tell us his name, first of all, and introduce himself for me.
Good afternoon. It's afternoon here in Jamaica. Good evening in the UK. My name is Asburn Pinnock. I'm son of the soil from Clarendon, up in the hills of Clarendon, a place called Rexford at the foot of the Bullet Mountain. That's where I'm made from, yes.
Bullet Mountain?
Bullhead.
Bullhead.
Okay. Bull's Head.
Bull's Head. All right. We have a Nag's Head in London in a place called Enfield, Nag's Head, but it's Bull's Head in Clarendon. Now, so you are not just Asburn Pinnock. You have a very high position in the educational landscape in Jamaica. I'm going to go right there, and then we're going to go back to your early beginnings. Tell me a little bit about your job at the moment, your profession, and where you're based.
Well, I'm a teacher by profession, and I'm the president of the Michael University College in Kingston, Jamaica. As you know, the Michael is the oldest teacher training institution in the Western Hemisphere. This year we are celebrating 187 years.
Fantastic.
Since the inception of the Michael. And I'm privileged to be the president of that institution. August institution.
Oh, yes. And for all the Myconians who might be listening, I know they'll be proud that that's the Michael, not just Michael, but the Michael.
The Michael.
Now, you have been president for more than a decade?
No, not so long. In fact, just over 7 years. I should be.
Okay, coming up to a decade. All right. Now, you are a teacher by profession. Where were you trained? And what were you trained in?
Actually, I was trained at the Sam Sharp Teachers College. That's my initial training. Then I went on to the University of West Indies. Then I went in Connecticut and did my postgrad and graduate, and my terminal degrees were done in the US.
Okay, fantastic. So when you trained as a teacher at Sam Sharp, what subject were you specializing in, or subjects?
The social sciences. It was history and the social sciences.
Okay.
Yes.
So you went to you went to Sam Sharp, and while you were at Sam Sharp, what was your student experience like? Were you into student leadership? Were you very visible as a student leader, or were you shy and retiring?
Well, I tend to be perceived as shy, but there's something called a quiet confidence that I always have. And persons, for some reason, always sees it in me. And so when I thought I was just be a quiet student achieving my academic goals, I was thrust into leadership. And that's so at every level of my education, including now.
Okay. So and when you speak about student leadership, can you give us a little taste of what it was like when you were at Sam Sharp? What were some of the things that you were involved in?
Okay. It is easier to say what I was not involved in. I was involved in everything. I was on the student council. I was treasurer. I used to run the talk shop. I was sports captain for a year. I was house leader for my house. Was sub warden.
And
Um, you name it. I played cricket for the college. I played football. I did track and field, and
wow,
so I did basically everything.
well-rounded individual. And so you moved on from Sam Sharp. And what was your first um, school that you taught at?
Oh, I taught at Kellett Secondary, a school called Kellett's in Clarendon, not too
In
far from where
Clarendon.
I was born.
All
So
right.
I taught there for only a year before
Uh-huh.
I moved on to university to begin my degree.
Okay. So when you went, you did social sciences, and did you continue in that vein at uni?
Yes, at UWI, I did history, economics, and politics.
All right.
Yes, so I continued in that vein, yes.
So at any time, did you get the bug, the politician bug? Did you think of going into politics?
Actually, I considered it a few times. Once you start studying political science, you tend to get a little, a little sting,
Yes.
and
Yes.
so I did. But there's this leveling kind of a conscience which says, remain in education, and
Yeah.
follow that. Yes.
So you all right? So you went to uni, did your first degree, and then you went abroad to do your terminal degree. What was your focus,
Well,
and why did you do
my
that?
I did two master's degrees. One was in one was international relations because
Yeah.
of my international, my history and my social studies background. And
Yeah.
then I also did a master's in education and leadership.
Okay.
So those were the two. And then later on, I got a fellowship to do a doctoral study in education leadership, specializing in the implementation of technology in the school system.
Oh, lovely. So let me ask you now, having um, gone into uh, educational leadership,
Yes.
what was it that um, why was that topic or that focus of interest to you?
Because you are seen as a leader,
Yeah.
and therefore it becomes natural that you want to pursue that aspect of education.
Mm,
Each time you try to be a regular classroom teacher, there's always someone who says no and give you this responsibility. And
yes,
therefore
yes.
you thought, why not formalize it? So I
Mm, I did. Okay, lovely. Now, I made sure to talk a little bit more about where you are because I want to. I think it's very important that people realize that where you are is based on a particular foundation that you were given. You are the president of VMICO. You've been there for almost a decade. You
yes.
have been in many positions of leadership from well, tertiary education. I want to go back to Bull's Head. Bull's Head? Did I get that right?
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about Bull's Head, your upbringing, your life as a child.
Well, as I said, I was born in Bullet, which is uh, in the middle of the island. In fact,
Yeah.
on the peak of that mountain, there is a demarcation which says that this is the middle by compass. The exact
Really?
yes, the center of Jamaica lies right
Wow.
there,
So you
and
you you're in a unique position then.
very very much so. But I was born in very humble circumstances.
Mm.
I like to see Jesus as my mentor and idol because he was also born in very humble circumstances.
Yeah.
So my father moved from his home and went to Bullhead, which is a little distance away from where we used to live, to do farming.
Mm.
His opportunities were not as great as today, so he went. And in doing so, he built a hut where
Mm.
he could stay overnight or even during the week.
Yes.
And it was a comfortable place. And he built his bed and everything. Um, and so my mother couldn't stand being away from him for the entire week, so she would come over and stay with him. And long and short is that I was born on a bamboo bed with a man-made mattress with a floor bag, pillows,
Really?
and a dirt floor. That's where I was born, and
Wow.
and then I was taken over to my grandparents' home, and that's also a humble abode. It was
Yes.
a two-room board house. The house is still there today, and I hope
Is
it
it?
remains that way. Yes, I went to live there.
Wow.
Um, and but interestingly, I didn't know that we were poor. That didn't cross our mind at all.
Yes.
We One thing I can tell you, we had enough food to eat and to
Yes.
stand dog, as they would say in Jamaica. So you name it, we had it. We raise
Yes.
our own chicken, we raise our own pigs, we raise our own goats, we have eggs, we have fruits, vegetables, yam, you name it. So
Yes.
therefore, we were okay. But
Yes.
we had to go to church, we had to
Yes.
go to school, and
Yes.
therefore that was non-negotiable. And
Yes.
that formed now the foundation of your moral upbringing, and the social fabric begins to come together. You know,
Yes. Yes.
that was my beginning between a place called Redford and Bullet.
So I I I I note that there is a certain pride that you exude when you talk about your humble beginnings,
Of course.
um, which means that you see it as a badge of honor that you are able to move from that position to where you are now, and you have no embarrassment about it, and you recognize the grounding that it gave you. Now you spoke about going to church and going to school. What was school life like for you?
School was okay for me, for the most part. I was a little bit of I couldn't sit still. So now they have some fancy word of describing what I thought my condition may have been. But luckily, the
Yes.
teachers didn't see it that way. They just saw me as a little troublemaker, and they was gave me a lot of responsibilities, and I was
Mhm.
fine. I couldn't stay still. Um,
Yes.
I performed fairly well, and
Hmm.
that landed me a scholarship to Clarendon College. In
Okay.
fact, I started in Redford at the basic school, and then I went to a place called Brandon Hill, which is
Yeah.
about, I would say, 78
Still
miles near Kellis. And
okay.
so
And
I
that
was
that's still carried on, right?
still in Clarendon, and that's
Yes.
where I went to primary school. Then I passed my common entrance there and went to Clarendon College, um,
Yes.
where I started my secondary schooling.
Now, did you remain at Clarendon College
Actually, no, I left after third form, and I
and
got
went
transferred
to
to.
a very wonderful school in Manchester?
Yeah, I was blessed. I've had two great experiences in high school. I went to Manchester High.
Oh yes. That now stick loose said, look, what's
Of
the what,
course,
what
of course. Yeah.
and what does the school motto mean to you of
Well,
Manchester High School?
it really again got you grounded
Yes.
and got you focused
Yes.
and enable you to realize that, listen, this is not a place to waste the opportunity,
Hmm.
and therefore, you know, I like mottos and because they really keep you focused and grounded.
Yeah. Now, I remember a story that I heard as it relates to you and shoes. Would you like to share your story about shoes with us?
I was telling someone this story over the weekend when we were in Singapore. and we saw some shoes being sold at some exorbitant prices. I was telling my colleague about the so-called curse, but really a blessing. Um,
Yes.
when I passed common entrance for high school, I we needed to, I was a boarder. I was offered a position to board on campus. You know, growing up in the country, you really didn't have a lot of clothes.
Mm.
So you had a church suit, you had a two or so school uniform, you have what you call judging clothes you wear, around the yard and stuff. And you may have now a suit that you wear out, you know,
Yeah.
and that was it. You had a school shoes and a school shoes. And in those days, we didn't have any shoes to wear around the house.
No.
So going to boarding school, they gave you a list of things that you had to get. And so my grandmother was tasked to take me down to Chapel to buy these things. And one of them was a school shoes. Now, I wanted a shoe called the Earthman shoes. That was the shoes in fashion
Trending
at the
back then.
time, the trending, and we were searching, and we found a lady selling the Earthman shoes. But the Earthman shoes was for $33. I still remember that price. And my grandmother said, well, she can't afford it. And she negotiated with the woman. The woman said, okay, $30. And she said, I can't go any further. And my grandmother said, I only have $30. And if I pay that for the shoes, we won't have any fear to go home. So
Mm.
she looked at me and she rubbed my head. And it's almost as if tears were coming down her eyes. And she said,
Mm.
I can't, you deserve the shoes and I can't give it to you today. So take the hush puppy. And when you go to school, please do well. And one of these days, you're gonna own more shoes they can manage. And I had forgotten about it and grew up and have this craze for shoes. I just love to buy shoes. And then one day my wife was commenting that is the first man she sees that have more shoes than the wife. And I was telling her the story. And she said, oh, so is a grandmother curse or a blessing is on you? Either a curse or a blessing. I don't know which one it is.
Well, I want to see it as a blessing. She spoke it into being, and you have allowed it to be manifested in your life. So let me
It's
ask you a
blessing.
quick question. What shoe are you wearing? What shoe are you wearing now?
I'm actually because I'm working from home today. Actually, in a pair of slippers, but I bought,
Okay.
I bought a pair last week. I can tell you that.
Well, I just got to ask you, what did you buy any in Singapore, and what did you buy in Singapore? What shoe did you buy in Singapore?
Well, I don't know what the brand is called. I think this is a Steve Harvey brand. I bought well, it wasn't in Singapore. It was en route. So I stopped in New York for overnight. So I was here. I couldn't resist.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
yeah. Overnight, and you had to get your shoe. You have a love for shoe, but it's
Yes.
not just a love for shoes that you have. You mentioned that you like quotations and mottos. Could you share at least two mottos that have helped you throughout your life? From your very humble beginnings, a little board building to now being the president of one of the oldest educational institutions in the Western Hemisphere. What mottos have kept you focused and grounded?
Well, you just name one from Manchester High, and then there's the one from Clarendon College. You
Yeah.
know, perstere, perstere, be persistent and persevere. And one thing I can tell you, perseverance is one of my hallmarks. Right?
Yeah.
When things get tough, it's very difficult for me to give up, and I
Mhm.
tend to push on. And then there's also the best that should come out. And coming from where I'm coming from, I want to and the sacrifice that I've seen my parents and my grandparents made for all of us, not just for me, for all of us. I always want to make them proud. And even though that they are deceased, I still would not want them to think that I'm here doing anything that they would not approve of. And so, I persevere because, largely because of them and the blessing that I've received.
And I'm getting the impression that family is important to you.
Absolutely.
Um, and the connection. Are you from a large family?
Absolutely.
And okay, are you the firstborn or the last one?
I'm the third of 16 children.
You're joking.
No, I'm not joking.
Wow. Your
Third
parents believe they've been fruitful and multiplied.
on the farm and in the house, they multiply.
That's interesting. And what's your relationship with like your siblings? Are you all very close?
Very
Have,
close.
and you all have achieved despite your humble beginnings.
Certainly. I was remarking that I have five sisters and four are teachers. My mom died young, and my sisters, three of them, I think, came to stay with me. And it can be blamed today that because of my influence, they are all teachers.
Oh wow,
All
that,
four of them are teachers. They
that
followed
is
my footsteps,
fantastic.
and they're
Well,
doing well. They're doing well. Two are of doctorates, and the other two have master's degrees, and they're doing
fantastic,
well. I'm proud of them.
fantastic. It must give you a sense of fulfillment that your siblings have done well, but not only that your siblings have done well, but four of your sisters have followed in your footsteps.
Yes,
Now, you are not only paving the way for your siblings, you're also paving the way for the next generation of Jamaican educators. What has that been like for you, being president of the MICO?
well, it's not just at this position, but you get to meet your students even from Kelly Secondary many years ago. And those, I spent quite a number of years at Sam Sharp lecturing as well.
Yeah,
And I've gone through every level of the tertiary sector, from assistant lecturer all the way up to principal and president. So I've impacted many, many persons. And the good thing about impacting teachers, the
yes,
multiplier effect is so great because each teacher will impact hundreds of students. And that's the
yes,
best you can ever in. That's where money spent on teacher education is money well invested because of the multiplier
yes,
effect of it. So
yes.
it gives me great satisfaction to serve in this capacity.
Fantastic. Now, um, I reached out to a couple people to find out about how you were doing in micro. And one of the statements that I was told is that you have great ideas, and when you came, one of the things is that you wanted to diversify. So, what are some of the things that you have implemented in micro since your tenure there as president?
Well, we're still in the process of diversifying our offerings. We,
Yeah,
we have a mandate for teacher education, so it's very difficult to move too far away from that. I mean,
yeah.
that's what it was instituted for, and the trust, they insist that the trust fund that started the Michael for that purpose. So that has to be our core. But we
Yeah.
also do other things outside of that, and we're trying to now move into a liberal arts program. It will support the education program. We
Yeah.
have also diversified blended approach in terms of online and hybrid teaching and learning. In
Yes.
fact,
Yeah.
during COVID, we were up and running after a week of a shut
Wow.
and online. And
Yeah.
today, many of my colleagues and students want to remain online. So we have to be urgent to return to campus.
Face to face. Yes.
So we have created um, smart classrooms for that purpose. We just completed our well project where we are now self-sufficient with water because water is an issue in Kingston, as you're aware. And
Yes.
and we are doing our front gate and our perimeter fencing. So we have organized. Now we're on a STEM agenda where we are seeking to build a STEM center. It's almost an extension of the campus where we
Yes.
teachers in the STEM methodology and to a center for research, science, and technology. One of the reasons I went to Singapore is to view what they have there and to see how they can enhance what we are planning to make.
Now, tell me a little bit about the Well program and the STEM program. Now, the Well program. water, but what is the educational institution doing with water? How did you get involved, and how is that impacting on the rest of the country?
Well, when I came to the micro in 2015, I came in a period just like now. Actually, it was pretty dry, and we had to be buying water, taking the water on campus, and the campus was dry and almost like a dust bowl in some parts. And I immediately start to find out how we can, ensure we have enough water supply. And so we're looking for ways. One of the things we're talking about the water harvesting, but I was saying to myself, how can you harvest what you don't have? And therefore, also looking at recycling. And then the idea came that we probably could look for a well. Somebody said that there was a well on the campus, and I was searching for it. Then I asked for help, and someone told me that there was no well on the campus because they knew where the well was. And so we proceeded to look into investing in one. And at the end of a few years, we sunk a well. It was a long time to get the purification aspect of it. It was commissioned a few weeks ago, where we can now supply ourselves with water. This will help NWC because they don't have to worry about us anymore, and it will save us a bundle of money every month.
Wow.
Yes.
So here is a man with a vision, okay, from the beginning, and you are now at the top of your game in terms of making not just plans for now but for the future. You are a thinker. You are a person who is forecasting. You're not just happy sitting down and going with the flow. You're making things happen. And so you're thinking, okay, here is a need. I don't think we need to spend any money with water commission. There is a problem. Let's find out how we can solve the problem. And you've found a solution. And now with STEM, how did that come about?
Well, I've always thought that my doctoral studies have to do with infusion of technology in the classroom. And
Right.
it's a natural progression to move. And I thought that the Jamaican population is in fact, my master's thesis spoke to the fact that our Jamaican population is our most valuable human resource. And
Mm.
I was writing, I wasn't aware that Singapore thought the same thing. And Lee
Oh,
Kuan Yew came to Jamaica and to look and study what we were doing here and took back
really?
ideas. So when we were there last week and looking at their system, it was so similar to what we have here in Jamaica, but much
Wow.
undeveloped, that I now confirm that indeed he came and took some ideas from. And if you speak to any Singapore, the first thing they will tell you, we have no natural resources, but we have our human capacity. And I
Yeah.
believe science and technology is one of the apart from upbringing and value and attitude, which they have as well in system,
Yeah.
which we need to get a lot of care. Apart from that, then the scientific way of thinking and 21st century skills, STEM skills, are critical to the development of any people and of your nation. And
Yeah.
so the infusion of that in the teacher college curriculum,
Yeah.
it again with a great multiplier effect.
Yes. Yes. Let me ask you, do you have a lot of prospective teachers coming in wanting to do science and technology, or are they more leaning towards the arts and the physical aspect of things, PE and dance and things like that?
That's a very good question. One of the problems why, in fact, we're targeting the trainee teachers because we want to change the culture at the early childhood level, primary level, at the secondary level. And the concept and the phobia towards mathematics and science, we want to change that. The reason why, one of the reasons we're not getting enough persons coming to college to train in those areas is because not enough of them are passing the subjects and matriculating in that area. And those
Yeah.
who do will move on to more lucrative profession.
Yes.
and medicine, etc. And there lies our challenge. So the idea is that why not train everybody and allow everybody to be able to function in this capacity so that we can build our human resource for our development.
Now, when you say why not train everyone, are you thinking of training everybody as teachers or training everybody in STEM? What's the vision there?
In STEM, you see, some persons define STEM narrowly.
Yes.
I define STEM in a broader context. To my mind, there are three aspects to STEM. One is the acronym. So you speak discrete area, the science, the technology, the engineering, the mathematics. So you do those subjects. That's good.
Yes.
But then the scientific way of thinking is another, where you are trained to solve problem, whether you're doing English language, you're doing dance, theater, or your geography, or it's maths or chemistry. The same method of thinking is required to solve
Yes.
problems. And therefore, if Jamaicans start to develop that way of thinking, then you're going to see a reduction in crime, for example. Because
Mm-hmm.
people who are thinkers and people who are creative do
You
not,
don't have any time to cry.
because they'll
Yeah.
see other way out, and they will see the destruction and the destructive social behavior. And that's one other area of STEM. And then the other aspect is culture, is how you structure your life and your way of life. So if your way of life becomes your profession, then they say you would not work in your life because
Exactly.
and
Because
that's
you're doing something that you enjoy.
yes.
Yes, yes. I sense a passion. I sense a passion for education and for life and for your country.
Yes.
Um, I'm going to touch a little bit on the fact that you said you had to go to church. Are you involved in church as much um, in the same way that you're involved in education?
No, not really. I do go to church, and my wife is very much involved as well, and we support her and support the kids. But I still live by those values. Uh,
Yes,
I feel that at the age, and there's today,
yes,
I'm not embarrassed or ashamed because I know that my upbringing can never be outmoded or outdated.
yes, yes,
Principles
yes,
of life remain the same no matter how high you climb and what you
yes,
do.
yes,
There's a song I like actually. I think it was Shirley Caesar who sang this song about no charge. And
yes,
you know,
yes. For the 9 months you carried me.
right. And there's another
Yes,
one that spoke to the boy that went to university and came back. Uh,
yes, yes.
and
Couldn't find God.
and
Couldn't explain God. Yes,
explained that because he became so educated that he had forgotten about God.
yes. I I think we are having a bit of technical difficulty as my guest is frozen, but I am sure that you have been impressed with his story, his humble beginnings, and now to be the president of one of the oldest and most prestigious educational institutions in Jamaica. I mean, that is that is awesome, and I love the fact that Dr. Pinnock is so passionate about education, but also so proud of his background and so focused on. We just lost you for a moment there, Doc. And
Ambassador,
I was just saying to our listeners that you are very proud of your beginnings, and you seem to have a vision for the future, and you seem quite invested in Jamaica. Now, quite a number of people are are not in Jamaica, not investing in Jamaica. What is it that has kept you in Jamaica? You have a brilliant mind. You're thinking about the future. You're coming up with solutions. You're focusing on solving problems. Why have you remained in Jamaica?
that's a very good question because I don't know myself. Because I've traveled a lot to almost all continents. I've seen what has been happening. I studied in the US. I was offered jobs in the US in the Grand Cayman, and for some reason I can't take up the offers. And even though there are much more lucrative offers than I am currently experiencing, but there's something that kept me here, and I fought it for a while and decided, I can't fight any longer. This is where I belong. I'm gonna stay.
You're a son of the soil, and
Yes.
it's more than just loving the sea and the sand and the coconut water. I see a love for the country, and I see a love for the people, where you want the people to be more than they are, and you are willing to invest not just your time but everything to ensure that you pay it forward by pouring into the lives of the prospective teachers and coming up with new ways. One of the things you spoke about was that as you were growing up, you couldn't sit still. And they said that you were a little troublemaker, and they gave you responsibilities to help you. The MICO is well known for its focus on special education. Tell me a
No.
little bit about the program that are at the MICO and how your specialism at MICO is impacting on the country and other institutions.
Well, was the first of its kind. The micro care centers, they care and that diagnostic and therapeutic center that looks at needs at all the spectrum.
Yeah.
Try to find intervention to help, and coupled with that, we also train teachers in this field in almost all of the disabilities as well. We train not only in Jamaica but for the Caribbean. We have expanded our testing to Mandeville. We saw centers in Portland. We have a full-fledged center in St. Anne's Bay. We were supporting up until recently a center in Montego Bay. So we are impacting the island, but with all of that, we're still not, really touching the great. I gather that I thought all along we had 15% of the population with special needs. Now I'm hearing it's more like 30%. So you
Mm.
can imagine the challenge that we face. But we still try now moving into autism as a
Mhm.
special. We're looking for a place now to expand where we can use animal therapy
Therapy.
to treat autism. So
Mhm. Thank you for that. You've spoken about testing. What share with our listeners what are the areas that you're testing, and give us an idea if if you are able to how easy is it for someone who believes that they have a learning difficulty or an additional need? How easy is it for them to get the assessment done?
I wish I could tell it was easy,
Mm.
and the ease is not that the care is available, but not enough. And we would love to expand, but it takes cash to care, and
Yes,
so
yes.
we really need an injection of funds to expand our reach to
Mhm.
any person. The other issue is that some of the areas the expertise and the personnel difficult to attract and find. They become very expensive, and so they find more lucrative jobs overseas, as you can imagine. So speech therapy, for example, occupational therapists is very difficult to find those persons, and that now limit our
Your
ability to
remit.
respond to the
Mhm.
needs there. We
Yeah,
do.
yeah. Now, um, do do you assess the students or anybody at the Michael, or are these only done off campus?
Um, Off campus, we tend to the age group. We tend to focus more on the younger children.
Yeah,
The Myconians are adults. The students are
yeah.
adults. They don't get involved with affecting adults. If it's an issue, then we refer to a psychologist, clinical psychologist, etc., etc. But in the main, the testing is done with 18, well, under 18.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, interestingly, that you should mention autism because worldwide, aut- April is seen as Autism Awareness or Autism Acceptance Month. And
Right.
when I was growing up, I the only special needs I think that I was aware of was that somebody could be deaf,
Yeah.
or being blind, or but in
Here.
terms of things like autism, ADHD, and dyslexia, those things were not on our radar. But recently, I think that there has been quite a number of persons living in Jamaica whose children have been diagnosed with autism. And I think that there's a great focus on autism at the moment.
Yes.
Um, do you think that people are being diagnosed, or that there is still a high level of undiagnosed needs when it when in Jamaica at present?
Well, we're diagnosing more, and that's why you're seeing increased levels. But I can tell you there's a lot that's still undiscovered,
Yeah, yeah.
and would like to do more, as I said before.
So there is the need to do more. The Michael has as its remit the focus of working with kids who are children who have special educational needs. They set up the first center,
Yes.
or organization institution for that. Do many of your present students show an interest in being trained in special education, or is special education one of your core subjects for all teachers at the Michael?
Well, it's both. We do. I think we'd love to have more persons specializing in it. I'm surprised
Yeah.
we don't have persons coming. I think we need to do more public education in this regard. But we do have a fair amount that comes every year for training. Uh, and we also ensure that every teacher gets some exposure to the basic rudiments of special education. So they can at least
Mhm.
understand and be able to make some reference and referrals, you
Yeah,
know.
lovely. How closely do you work with the Ministry of Education as it relates to special educational needs being the foremost institution?
Well, very close because they fund the center. They fund a large percent of the cost,
Okay.
and they fund the micro as well,
Yeah.
um, to a large percent. Not enough in my mind, but that's a story that I'll take it with them. Um, yeah, but they do, and therefore we have a very close relationship. In fact, the trip that I just returned from, it was the ministry that we've gone on several delegations with the minister or the academic ministry to look at systems around the world. So we're very closely together.
Lovely. I'm sitting here listening to you, Dr. Pinnock, and I'm thinking, Clarendon, the Clarendon country boy is a globetrotter. Not only a globetrotter, but he's mixing with the high echelons of academia and holding his own. Did you ever think, as you were growing up as a child, that you would be where you are now?
Absolutely not.
So,
Absolutely not. I
what
thought of
caused
being a policeman, a soldier. At one point, I wanted to be a bus conductor. It was so exciting to see the bus conductors driving up and down around, going to Kingston and returning. Of course, every boy growing up wanted to be a policeman or a soldier.
Yeah.
And those were my growing up was my they were my leap until your eyes became a little more open.
And when did that happen for you?
That's a good question. In 1984, I left high school in '83. I spent a year at a community college in Knox, Clarendon, trying to figure out what I'm going to do. there are more than one options. One was to do pre-engineering courses and then move on to UTech. The other was to move on to A levels, do the arts, and get into law. And so the
Mm.
between both options. And then someone, I don't know who came to campus with a form. In those days, you could apply for college on a single form, and you could pick your preference, ranking your preference. So I ticked four colleges, which includes the Michael Sam Sharp Church, and I think I'm not sure if Bethlehem. I got through
Excellent.
four of them, and
Well done.
I chose Sam Sharp because was furthest away from home, and I wanted to be independent. I thought it
Yes.
was close to the beach, and therefore, and that's where it began, you know. And
Wow.
I have gone to UWI now, did a first degree in the arts, and then transfer into law, and
Mm.
again in economics. So I'm one of those who got caught.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow. But, you know, your story is a fascinating story, a story of commitment, resilience, perseverance, which you said is a favorite word of yours, but also
Yes.
a story of vision and a story which is inspirational in that one of 16,
Yes.
16, very humble beginning, but you didn't say to yourself, all I see around me are farmers. I'll only be a farmer. You looked beyond where you were and recognized that there was something over the hill. And you have been moving towards it. And I don't think that you are finished. I think that you still have a desire to attain more and to achieve more. But would you say that your desire to achieve more and to experience more is for yourself or for others?
Well, at this point, I don't think it's for myself. I mean, I still enjoy it, to be honest. It's a natural human behavior. But one, to make my family proud. I do have, well, I can't call them children anymore, grown kids. And so I still want to be there for them.
Yes,
And then they're all my kids in Jamaica. All the children in Jamaica are my kids. And
yes.
whatever I do to impact Jamaica, to impact the children, would be. So that's what I'm living for at the moment.
Fantastic. I'm going to go a little closer home. You've just mentioned your children. Tell us a little bit about your family, your immediate family.
Oh well,
Uh,
I have a
you
wife
told me
and two
about your
kids.
wife. Is she in
Yeah,
education as well? And
she's also an
what level
educator.
of
Yes.
education are your children?
Oh well, my wife is an educator. She is responsible for Region 4 and the Ministry of Education, which includes the parish of Westmoreland, St. James, and Hanover. So
Okay.
she's in charge of those schools in that region. So she's an educator. I mean, and in fact, she also wanted to be a doctor and end up in education. So
Fantastic.
and then I have two girls, one 20 and the other 23.
Wow.
They're both in the medical field. One is doing straight medicine, the other is dentistry. And so they have
Okay.
their own goals,
Fantastic.
and
You must be very proud of them.
I am very proud of them. Yes.
Fantastic, fantastic. I still, I'm looking at you, and I'm thinking, wow, that is awesome. Your burning desire has not stayed with you; it has ignited a flame in your family members, and they are blazing their own trail. What do
Yes.
they think about what you have accomplished?
I think they're very proud of me, and each time, they all celebrate with me, and so I think they're very proud.
Fantastic, fantastic. I'm sure that the class of 1983 is also very proud of you
Yes,
and what
yeah,
you have achieved. You had a recent 40th year celebration
yes,
of
yes. That was exciting. Yes, yes, to see my colleagues I haven't seen in 40 years. That is.
Yes.
remarkable. Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
What's your best memory of high school?
There's no one memory. It's just a phase of my life
Yeah.
where I found myself and
Mm.
found some very good friends and teachers,
Yes.
and my life began to take shape. You know, and that's what I remember. I remember sharing lunch with my friends and sharing experiences, going through puberty, going through the development phase of the life, going through the radical phases, being, and
Yeah.
and still remain grounded.
Yes.
Sometimes very difficult, but you had to to rally back on, and that is why I'm so proud of my beginning, because I could go back to that and
Yes.
remember that I had nothing. I had friends who were wealthy,
Yes.
especially in Knox. I had friends who were wealthy, and they knew where their money was coming from. They knew where their profession and what was going to happen. They can immediately fast business. I had friends who had Volvos and Mercedes Benz. My father had a donkey, and I knew that, and I was proud of it because he
Yes.
gave us all that he could. But
Yes.
we knew that we had to remain focused because
Yes.
we had to take what he had for us, which was education, and that
Yes.
kept me focused. Yes.
Yes. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, we have been listening to Dr. Asburn Pinnock, my guest for this evening, the last Tuesday of the month of April, the best month of the year. It has been a pleasure talking to you. It has been a pleasure listening to your story. And I know that my audience will have been impressed and inspired and blessed by your story, by what you have achieved. And I didn't want to start at the beginning. I wanted to start at the heights that you were at and that you are at now, so that they could see the journey when we went back to the beginning. I want to thank you for sharing with us and for inspiring us. I want to thank you for the vision you have for the future, for the Jamaica that we love, the land that we call home. I want to commend you for your investment in the future and the solutions that you have come up with for the gaps that you have seen. I wish you and the Michael all the best as you celebrate a milestone this year. Dr. Pinnock, thank you very much for being our guest this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to remind you that you're to be a dreamer and a doer. Once you have life, there is hope and there is possibility. Nothing is impossible. God has plans for all of us. With God, nothing is impossible. I want to thank you for being with us this evening on another It Is Possible Tuesdays with Tanya. We'll see you next month when we meet another interesting, inspiring guest. Thank you very much and have a very good night.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much, Dr.
All
Pinot.
the best. Take care.
Bye bye. Thank you. Night, night, everybody, and see you soon. Now, my producer has gone and left me on the blink today. No, I think he's going to come in and give me my music to sign off.
Okay.
And I hope he is hearing me. If he's not hearing me, we're going to take our time and just move off. Philip,
Take
are you
care.
there?
All the best.
Thank you very much, Dr. Pina. Do have a wonderful evening, and I hope you'll be able to sleep this evening
I will try.
and
Thank
get some good rest.
you. Yes.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It has been wonderful this evening, and I hope that you were kept intrigued. What a beautiful story, a lovely story, very humble beginnings. And now he's the president of the Michael. Ladies and gentlemen, It has been wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I hope that you were inspired, and I hope that you will look on this story and recognize that nothing has to limit you. Once you can think it, you can achieve it. It is possible Tuesdays with Samuel. I hope that I'll see you next week. Thank you. It is possible Tuesdays with Sanya returns next month, and we have another doctor who is be with us, an academic doctor this time. Yes, so look out for it. That's the last Tuesday in the month of May. May is going to be a very exciting month. We have the coronation. If you're in Jamaica, it's Mother's Day, it's Child's Month, it's Education Day, I think Teacher's Day. Lots of activities going on in Jamaica. I hope that I will see you then. When I call on Jesus, all things are possible. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it has been wonderful being with you this evening. I hope you've enjoyed our session. It is possible Tuesdays. And pop me a comment so that I know where you have been listening from. And tell me who else you might want to see on the program. Drop me a name or a topic that you'd like us to explore. Next month is also our anniversary. Do you remember how many years we have been doing It Is Possible Tuesday? Well, you can put the answer in the comment section. I'll be looking out for your responses. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's the end of another It Is Possible Tuesdays. I'm hoping that you will be commenting putting your comments so that I can see them. I've not seen any at the moment, and I'm looking forward to your comments and hearing what you've had to say. We started off a little late today. My apologies for that. Hopefully, we will be bang on time next month. I'm really looking forward to sharing with you next month. I'm really excited about all my guests. Each month, I think they get more and more excited, and I'm hoping that you've been enjoying them. Please drop me a line, a comment, and tell me, have you been enjoying the guests this year? What has made an impression on you? Which guest has really been an inspiration? I know all of them are, but which one is your favorite? Tell me. Drop me a comment. I'm trying to find your comments. I'm looking. Let me see. Can I find any comments? Let's see. Let me see. Ah, I'm not seeing your comments. I'm looking for them. Tell me what you thought of today's presentation, today's guest. Yes, we have a little bit more time. We've extended our talk today, but you're talking with me now. So tell me, what was the main point that you picked up from today's guest? Or which guest has been your favorite since the beginning of the year? What has stuck with you the most of all of the presentations that you've heard, all of the guests that we've had? I'm not seeing your comments as yet. I'm still waiting. Okay, I'm still looking, not seeing your comments. Yes, I see you, but I'm not seeing your comments. Okay. I think I'm going to sign off and leave you now. I think I need to give you some time to take in all that Dr. Pinnock said about his life, his vision for Michael, his vision for the country. He said something, he said, all the children are mine. And that's a lovely thought. And I see him looking at what he can do for the children of the future, the plans for STEM, letting our children be more exposed to new ideas, encouraging them. I like that. It's amazing. That's amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm going to give you 2 more minutes to draw me a line to share with me. Okay? I'm looking, I'm looking, I'm looking. Don't disappoint me now. Don't disappoint me. So 2 minutes to give me your feedback. Drop me a line in the comment section. I'm still looking. I'm looking on 2 devices and I'm trying to see if I can merge the, not seeing any there. And I'm trying to see here. I'm searching. Okay. Okay, my minute is almost up. 2 minutes almost up. 54 seconds and counting. I have another 36 seconds to go. Just giving you some time, some more time. It's after 8 here in the UK. The sun is just setting, just becoming dusk. And I can hear the birds tweeting outside. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. It has been a pleasure being with you. I hope to see you next month. Take care. Have a good evening.